The heart of the Catholic Church beats with anticipation. A new era approaches. Pope Francis, aging and frail, casts a long shadow. Whispers echo through the Vatican corridors. Who will inherit the weight of St. Peter's keys? One name hangs in the air, whispered more loudly than others: Cardinal Tagle. Is there a plan, a carefully orchestrated strategy to elevate the Filipino cardinal? Rumors abound, swirling with intrigue. Some say it's been in motion for years, a pact made in hushed tones. Others dismiss it as wishful thinking, the hopes of a church yearning for change. But where there is smoke, there is often fire. Cardinal Tagle's star has been rising for decades. His compassion, his intellect, his unwavering commitment to the poor, all mark him as a man of destiny. Is this his moment? The Vatican remains tight-lipped, the cardinals guarded in their pronouncements. Yet the question lingers: is the Church prepared for a Tagle papacy? The world watches, waits and wonders. The answer, shrouded in secrecy, may well reshape the future of Catholicism. Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle, a name whispered with reverence by some, viewed with suspicion by others. Is he the architect of a new Catholic Church, or a threat to its ancient traditions? The whispers grow louder. Tagle's journey is one of unlikely ascendance. Born in the Philippines, a land steeped in Catholicism but far from the halls of the Vatican, he rose through the ranks with quiet determination. His intellect was undeniable, his charisma magnetic. He spoke of a church that listened, that embraced the marginalized, that stood as a beacon of hope in a world consumed by darkness. His words resonated. From the slums of Manila to the halls of the Vatican, people took notice. He was a different kind of leader, one who spoke not of dogma and doctrine, but of love and compassion. His work with Caritas Internationalis, coordinating relief efforts for the world's most vulnerable, cemented his reputation as a man of action, a true shepherd of his flock. But the question remains: does Tagle possess the cunning, the political acumen to navigate the treacherous waters of Vatican politics? Or will he become a pawn in a game played by more seasoned players? Unlike his predecessors, often seen as distant figures shrouded in ceremony, Cardinal Tagle exudes warmth. He connects with people. A smile, a touch, a listening ear. He possesses an almost effortless ability to bridge divides. He is, in the eyes of many, the people's cardinal. His time in Asia, leading the Church in a region grappling with poverty, inequality and religious tensions, has shaped his worldview. He speaks of dialogue, of understanding, of finding common ground. He challenges the Church to confront its own failings, to practice the very compassion it preaches. His critics, however, see danger in his empathy. They view his calls for inclusivity, his willingness to engage with controversial issues, as a slippery slope toward doctrinal compromise. They fear he will bend too far, concede too much, in his quest for a more welcoming church. But Tagle's supporters believe that his empathy is his strength. They see in him a leader capable of healing divisions, of building bridges, of ushering in a new era of unity and understanding. The question is, will the Church follow? For centuries, the papacy has been a European institution, the throne of St. Peter occupied by men born and raised in the shadow of the Vatican. Could this change with Cardinal Tagle? Could the Church be ready for a shepherd from the East? Tagle's potential papacy represents a seismic shift in the Catholic world. It would be a recognition of the faith's growth in the global South, a testament to the vibrancy of Asian Catholicism. No longer would Rome be the sole center of power. The Church would be forced to confront its own Eurocentrism, to embrace the diversity of its global flock. Such a shift would not be without its challenges. Some within the Church hierarchy may resist, clinging to the familiar structures of the past. Others may see it as an opportunity to reshape the Church in their own image, exploiting the inevitable tensions for their own gain. But for many, a Tagle papacy represents a chance for a fresh start. A chance to break free from the shackles of history and embrace a new era of global Catholicism. The question is, will the Church seize this moment? The possibility of a Tagle papacy has ignited imaginations worldwide. Some envision a Church transformed, more inclusive, more compassionate, more attuned to the needs of the modern world. But is this wishful thinking? Could Cardinal Tagle truly usher in a new dawn for the Church? His supporters point to his track record, his work with the poor, his outreach to marginalized communities, his willingness to engage in dialogue with other faiths, all suggest a leader committed to building bridges. They believe he possesses the vision and the courage to tackle the Church's most pressing challenges, from clericalism to climate change. However, the path to reform is fraught with obstacles. The Church is a vast and complex institution, resistant to change. Powerful forces within the Vatican may resist Tagle's attempts to modernize, clinging to traditional doctrines and practices. The weight of history, of centuries of tradition, can be a heavy burden to bear. The question is not whether Cardinal Tagle has the desire to change the Church, but whether he has the power to do so. The answer, as always, lies in the hands of fate. The weight of tradition. The Catholic Church, a pillar of faith for millennia, stands at a crossroads. Its traditions, once unshakable, are now questioned by a changing world. Could Cardinal Tagle, known for his progressive views, reconcile these forces? Or would the weight of tradition crush his vision for a more inclusive Church? Tagle's papacy would face fierce opposition from conservative factions. His openness to dialogue on issues like LGBTQ+ inclusion, the role of women in the Church, and the acceptance of divorced and remarried Catholics has drawn criticism. They fear a dilution of doctrine, a betrayal of core values. Yet Tagle's supporters argue the Church cannot remain stagnant. They believe his willingness to engage with contemporary issues, to listen to marginalized voices, is essential for the Church's survival in the 21st century. They see him as a bridge builder, a leader capable of finding common ground between tradition and modernity. The challenge for Tagle, if he were to become Pope, would be to navigate this delicate balance, to uphold the Church's core teachings while also adapting to the changing needs of its flock. It is a task that would require both wisdom and courage, and the outcome is far from certain. A world divided. The news of a potential Tagle papacy has reverberated around the globe. From the bustling streets of Manila to the hallowed halls of the Vatican, reactions are mixed. Excitement, trepidation, and cautious optimism mingle in the air. The world watches, waits, and wonders what a Tagle papacy could mean. In the Philippines, a nation deeply rooted in Catholicism, the prospect of one of their own ascending to the papacy is a source of immense pride. Tagle is seen as a symbol of hope, a testament to the faith's strength in Asia. His election would undoubtedly spark celebrations across the archipelago. However, the global Catholic community is far from monolithic. Conservative Catholics, particularly in Europe and North America, view Tagle's progressive views with suspicion. They fear a departure from traditional teachings, a weakening of the Church's moral authority. The world awaits the Vatican's decision with bated breath. Will Tagle's papacy unite a divided Church, or will it exacerbate existing tensions? Only time will tell. The legacy of Francis. Pope Francis, a reformer and a revolutionary, has left an indelible mark on the Catholic Church. His emphasis on social justice, his humility, his outreach to the marginalized, all have challenged the Church to confront its own shortcomings. But what will become of his legacy under a potential Tagle papacy? Some see Tagle as the natural heir to Francis's vision. They believe that he will continue the work of reform, pushing for a more inclusive and compassionate Church. They point to Tagle's own track record of social activism, his commitment to the poor, and his willingness to challenge the status quo as evidence of his alignment with Francis's values. Others, however, are not so sure. They argue that Tagle, despite his progressive views, is ultimately a pragmatist. They believe that he will be more cautious than Francis, more mindful of the Church's internal politics. They fear that he may be forced to compromise on some of his more ambitious reforms in order to appease conservative factions within the Church. The question of Francis's legacy is a complex one. Tagle's papacy would undoubtedly be shaped by the legacy of his predecessor, but it would also be defined by his own unique experiences and priorities. At the crossroads of faith, the Catholic Church stands at a crossroads facing challenges both internal and external. The rise of secularism, the sexual abuse crisis, and economic inequality threaten its relevance. Could Cardinal Tagle, if elected Pope, navigate these turbulent waters? His supporters believe he can. They see in him a leader of compassion and deep faith. Critics, however, remain skeptical. They fear his progressive views will deepen divisions. The world watches and waits, holding its breath. The future of the Catholic Church hangs in the balance. Please subscribe to our channel History Documentary Hub for more insightful videos and intriguing content.